Because if we think of stress, anxiety, think of it as a vibration, like a tuning fork. So it's like we have this stress, and like we have stress inside. You have to have some stress. We have to have some anxiety. We have to have some anger. We have to have some grief. Like there's no such thing. It's like if you're always happy, you're never happy.
Hi, this is Tim Westbrook. Welcome to I Love Being Sober. We talk about life and recovery, mental health, biohacking, alternative therapies, and everything related to living a kick-ass sober life. So let's dig in. Welcome everyone to the Camelback Recovery Podcast. I Love Being Sober. I'm here with Jason Campbell. This is an extra special episode because we're blending recovery, healing, and mindfulness here in real time. Jason Campbell is a co-founder and master instructor at Zen Wellness, a lifelong student and teacher of meditation, martial arts, breathwork, and Eastern philosophy. Jason is also an accomplished composer whose meditation albums have reached millions of listeners worldwide. His work bridges ancient traditions with modern science, helping people regulate the nervous system, release stored stress, and find balance in their lives. He's taught thousands of students how to cultivate awareness, emotional balance, and peace through the power of breath and presence, which, as we know, are essential tools in recovery. In this conversation, we'll explore Jason's journey, the philosophy behind Zen Wellness, and the science and spirit of breathwork. Then, Jason will guide us through a live breathwork session or meditation, and so everyone here can experience firsthand how to quiet the mind, reconnect the body, and open the heart. Jason, welcome.
Thank you. You know, we could do it with the piano. I don't know if it's going to translate with the podcast.
That would be amazing. That'd be amazing. When we get there, if you guys want to do that with the piano, we can do that with the piano, or we can do it out here.
Okay.
I mean, I know you love the piano. You love your instrument, so maybe we can do it with the piano.
Well, something different. When I walked in, I didn't expect to see a beautiful, a piano.
Yeah,
so that's always kind of cool.
Yeah. Roll with it.
Yeah.
Roll with it. I appreciate your flexibility.
Yeah. Okay. So here, let me start with a story. This is a very old story, a very famous story. Siddhartha, who went on to become what we call the first Buddha. His mom called him Siddhartha, like everyone else called him Buddha. Mm-hmm. But there's many Buddhas, and Buddha just means awakened one. That's all it means. So it's more of a title. It wasn't his actual name. And so he was doing his thing. He was teaching. He used to teach for 9 months and then meditate for 3 and then teach for 9. He was on a rotation. Actually lived until his 80s. So he was one of the older guys. Okay. Jesus made it to 33, right around there. Siddhartha made it a little longer. And so there's these 2 brothers that he was training. And one brother, very smart, very intellectual. Another brother, not so smart. So he shows up and he's like, okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to do these mantras. We're going to do this, okay, transcribe and do all this. Okay, see you guys in a year. Okay, does this thing, comes back a year later. Smart brother does everything perfectly. Not so smart brother got confused, couldn't do it. So Siddhartha's looking at him, okay, so he gives the smart brother, okay, now do this, you do these, transcribe this, do these mantras, 10 times a day, da-da-da-da-da. Not so smart brother says, okay, you know what we're going to do? We're going to clean. Okay, here's the rag. We're going to clean this, da-da-da, clean over here. Okay, got this, clean this, clean the whole place. See you in a year. Comes back. Again, smart brother, does everything. Great. Not so smart brother, confused. He couldn't get it. Siddhartha gives the smart brother more. Of course, he does that. Not so smart brother, okay, come here. Check this out. Here's a broom. Ready? Okay, with me. Sweep. Okay, ready? Sweep. Got it? See you in a year. Shows up 1 year later. Smart brother, of course, does all the work. Not so smart brother reaches enlightenment.
Love that. I've never heard that story before. That's great.
Yeah, well, it's the cerebral activity doesn't make you happy. The monkey mind doesn't create happiness. It's actually, if we go into, a little bit of energetics, energetic anatomy. If I say pineal gland, has anyone heard of the pineal gland? Mm-hmm. The pineal gland think of it, that is the antenna. That's the antenna to the universe, the antenna to God. Sometimes it's called the eye of God. Call it whatever we want. And so think little transistor radio. You have this picking up a signal. And sometimes you'll read text, strengthen the pineal, or the fluoride, hurts the pineal. All that is correct. However, The fundamental problem is that we have two lobes of interference. We have static. Ding, 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 ding. That's the voice in the head. That's the monkey in the head, or sometimes the asshole that lives in your head. And so to activate the pineal, it's more about removal and dropping the static than it is about addition. So it's more about subtraction than addition. And when you remove the voice in the head, going, okay. Now, when I was a teenager, my late teens, I asked my martial art teacher, I said, hey, what is Zen? He looked at me, sidekicked me. He hit me so hard. Boom, right. I can feel it now. As I tell the story, oh man, it was painful. And I went flying it. I hit the wall. And I was like, that. He smiled and he walked away. He didn't say a word. That was my answer.
Yeah, love it.
But if he had explained to me, well, Zen is stopping the monkey mind and dropping the incessant stream of thinking so you can come into the moment, no past, no future. As a dumb teenager. Maybe I'm a dumb adult now. What's the difference? but I wouldn't have gotten it. But what he did is he got me to experience Zen. Because in the moment when I was flying through the dojo, there was no past, there was no future, there was only now. I might have even have had a word for it, or some word. Or sometimes Zen words are swear words. You ever notice that? In your most present moment, a swear comes out. Yeah, it's okay. It is what it is.
Yeah.
But so a lot of just being still is about dropping the cerebral activity. If you Michelangelo, he did a few small pieces of art, but he actually hated painting. There's a whole story. He painted the Sistine Chapel begrudgingly. God damn it, I'll show you this, grumpy man. But he really saw himself as a sculptor, and so he was a true master of sculpting. And his approach was that he would see this block. There's all types of rumors. He could touch it and feel if it was pure. I mean, who knows if that's true or not? It's a nice story. But his approach was, I'm not creating anything. I'm removing everything it isn't. So it's about removal. And so it's not about addition. It's removing. And so there's a lot of different ways we can say that. We can say addition through subtraction. Right. Or removing everything that isn't you. Because we get covered up with shit and nonsense and the voice in the head and but no, it's more about removal. Back to Siddhartha, the first Buddha. He was asked, years later, he was asked the question, what is enlightenment? What is enlightenment? And he didn't want to answer that question, but when pressed, he did answer. And his answer was the removal of suffering. But notice how he didn't say what it is. He said what it's not. Right. So if you said, hey, what's that you're holding in your hand? I said, well, it's not an elephant. Okay. Well, does that really help you? Maybe. I mean, now you one thing down. But in terms of, you can't say, if you put enlightenment into words, it's kind of tough. Then the mind tries to, capture it. It's almost like the mind's the best friend and your worst enemy simultaneously. Mm-hmm. It will, do a schedule and make dinner and, solve a crossword puzzle, but it'll also torture you at the same time, and it won't shut up, and it'll give a voice, and it'll be really negative, and it will do all types of negative. So it's you need it because we're not animals. It's one of the reasons we like animals, or animals are not trying to eat you and stuff. We like dogs and pets and cats, a three-legged cat or a three-legged panther, because they're so honest and they're so pure. And they don't have that monkey, they don't have that monkey mind. A dog's happy. It wags its tail. There's no trying to conceal its excitement to see you. It can't do it. It can't do it. So, back to, it's removal. So much in life is, it's the removal of suffering. What is suffering? If you oversimplify suffering, it comes down to three things: attaching, resisting, and judging. It's a gross oversimplification, but we attach, we cling, we judge. Oh, this is bigger, higher, lower. I'm better, I'm worse. Oh, I'm younger, I'm older, I'm this. Okay, that person has more. That person has all that. It's like the saying, "Comparison is the thief of joy." You're happy with something until you compare. I had one of my students years ago. She told the story of growing up very poor it was a South American country, like dirt floor, barefoot, with her 6 sisters, and she was happy until she realized she was poor. Wasn't until later on she realized she was poor. Like, wait, what? What? And then that sucked all her happiness. But growing up, she was happy as a clam. Her and her sisters used to fight all day. She would say, it's a South American thing, I guess. And
it's like dogs. It's like my dogs, Wayne and Betty. They fight all day long.
Yeah.
And they're just so happy.
Yes, right.
They don't know if they're rich, they're poor.
There was nothing. And it wasn't until later on that she realized, well, wait, what? I'm poor? And then that came in. Can you imagine now with like that Instagram? And then comparison. It's all a lie, by the way. All the stuff is a lie. But, oh, wow, that person has this, and now I don't. So now you compare, and it's the thief of, becomes the thief of joy.
Right.
So, but okay, so attachment, resistance, and judgment. And what is the resistance? Usually it's just the resistance to now. Because it's always you're always here, and it's always now. And those 3 things have never not been true. And it's funny, you use the word mindfulness, and let me nuance that word for a moment. When I used to think that word was like an evil Taoist master spread that word. Why? Because it's actually, we all use the word mindful. And if you go back into some of my literature years ago, you'll find mindful. So we've all used the word mindful. Right. But really, if you think about it, what? Stuffing your mind more full with more stuff is going to make you happy? No, it's the opposite. It's mind emptiness.
Right.
The mindfulness is the problem. It's actually the opposite of the word. And then when I did some research, it was actually a mistranslation of the Sanskrit word sati.
Okay.
There was a Buddhist scholar about 100 years ago was translating, and he used the word sati, which may be a better translation. Translations are tough, so he did his best, and blessings to him for doing all the translations. But sati, maybe a better word is like awareness. So we say mindful, meaning aware and pointing, but it's a funny thing.
Right.
Because it's actually the opposite. It's mind empty. But if we say mind empty or mindless, we think of that as non-intelligent, like low intelligence. Oh, that's mindless. But it's also presence or awareness is not something you can work on. It's only something you can experience.
Right.
Because there's only one time you can be presence, which is when? Now, yeah.
Right.
So it's a kind of a funny thing, if you hear it, because you'll see it's all types of literature, and it's well-meaning, but when you say, oh, you need to work, or the monkey mind says to you, this is the monkey mind, will try to trick you and say, you need to work on being more mindful. Everything about that statement is false.
Right.
Because you can't work on it, you can only be present. And my martial art instructor knew that. He kicked me. That he put me into the now.
Right. Right.
I think there's like a Winston Churchill quote, something to the effect of, nothing is more exhilarating than to be shot at without result.
Right.
No past, no future, you're just completely there. And if you probably look back into, I'm going to go on a limb here, I'm going to use the word happy. We can nuance that word, but the happier or happiest times, usually because there's presence. There's some sort of presence, or when you're engaged in something that's presence, even something physical. Maybe it's pickleball, or whatever it is, when you're completely engaged and it's just you, a ball, and hit. There's no past, there's no future, there's only now. That drops a lot of the cerebral activity, and it puts you in the now. Cold baths also.
I was just saying the same thing. It's like one of the best ways to get rid of the monkey mind, like you have to do a cold plunge. I mean, who here has done a cold plunge? Okay, you have to be present. Yeah. Like you can't think about the past, you can't think about the future. Yeah. You're just right here. If your mind is racing, you'll last 15 seconds and you got to jump out.
Yeah. Usually there's a popular cold plunge word when you jump in. Fuck. And that's okay. Whatever.
I actually had my dad. I had my dad come and do a cold plunge, and he hopped in. It was cold. It was like in the 30s, and he got in, and he's like, oh fuck, Tim, oh fuck. And this was my dad, and so it was really. I was like, good job.
Yeah. Those are his Zen words.
Those were his Zen words. Exactly. Yeah. So, So you've dedicated your life to studying both martial and healing arts. I guess what originally drew you to this path?
Well, my next birthday is 56. And
how old does he look?
I was not guessing 55.
And I began this process at age 8. So however many years.
Yeah. Okay.
However many years that is. I stopped counting after like 30, I think.
Okay.
And my first introduction to Zen, or to meditation, really. We didn't use the word Zen. We didn't even use the word meditation. It was actually to my music teacher.
Mm.
So as an 8-year-old boy, I show up for a music lesson. This woman, Russian lady, she said to me, she says, okay, before we even played a note, she said, never listen to notes. Idiots listen to notes. Masters listen to the space in between the notes. Okay. She said, when you listen to a note, your mind becomes cluttered and you hear nothing.
Mm-hmm.
When you listen to space or silence, your mind becomes clear and you hear everything.
Mm.
Like, okay. So my introduction was gong. We would play a note, and then as it faded, you'd listen. Gong. Ding.
So that's again listening to the silence. Yeah. You're removing.
Yeah.
You're looking for emptiness.
And then years later, I had said something to the effect of, well, what about you playing so many notes and you're so fast and there's no space in between the notes? And she's like, you're so stupid. You're such an idiot. She said, you listen to the space underneath. Like, okay. So, and there's a lot of metaphors. So if you have a painting, well, you have a canvas. The painting can only exist with the canvas. It's like sound needs silence, needs something to come out of. The word exist is Latin. It means to stand out. To stand out from what? From nothing. Because if you look around, there's more emptiness or space than form.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But the mind just wants to see the form. The mind doesn't want to see emptiness. If you actually listen, there's more silence than there is sound. But the ears don't want to hear that because they're not trained.
Right.
I can remember being a teenager. My uncle is a master painter. I never showed any skill in paint, but family members that do. And he had this big giant mural, and there was this green flowing grass. He said, "Okay, Jason, look at the grass." He goes, "What do you see?" I said, "Grass." Really? I said, "Green." He's like, "Really?" And then I tried to get clever. Jade. He's like, "No." And I'm like, "Okay, flowing motion, brushstroke." No. I didn't get it. And what he told me then, he said, the absence of red.
Mm.
I'm like, okay. Right? You take all the colors, all three of them, right? You take the three primaries,
mm-hmm.
blue, yellow, and red.
Mm-hmm.
Toss them in a mix, pull out the red, and what do you get?
Green.
Yeah. So it's like, don't see it by what it is, see it by what it's not. Same as Siddhartha. I reach inside of you and I pull out all your attachment, your resistance, and judgment. What do we get? Sweet, right? We get enlightenment.
So let's talk about breath work as an art and a science.
As medicine also, yeah.
And medicine. Yeah. How does the breath connect to the nervous system and help with emotional regulation?
Okay, so let's think about this. So you wake up in the morning, and if you did something 20,000 times a day, every day, would it be a good idea to get good at it? Let's start with that.
Mm-hmm.
Probably.
Yes.
Now, there's a myth, the 10,000 hour myth?
Yes.
There's truth to the 10,000 hours, but it needs to be nuanced. You say, you do something for 10,000 hours, and then you master it. Well, no, if you do something masterly for 10,000 hours, then you master it. Does anyone know anyone that's been driving for 10,000 hours that's still not a good driver?
Yeah, for sure.
80% of the people on the road, maybe.
Right.
And so if you think about it, every 14 months you've done 10,000 hours of breathing. every 14 months. Every day you take about 20,000 breaths a day. So if you think, what's the lowest hanging fruit for wellness? Well, okay, so we have eating, we have sleeping, we have breathing, we have drinking. But so how far can you go without sleep, or how long? How long can you go without food? How long can you go without water? How long can you go without breath?
Not very long.
So which is most important?
Right.
Yeah, it's the breath. So that's like the lowest hanging fruit for wellness. And then there's all types of stuff. I mean, it's like all the studies are now coming out more and more over the last 20 years about, what it does to your nervous system, and what it does to your nitric oxide, what it does to your emotions. I mean, this has been known for tens of thousands of years. I mean, how far back can you go? Who knows? But I know, our lineage goes back. We can trace it 3,000 years, probably longer. Who knows? But it's been going on for a long time.
Yeah, and I actually I started doing triathlons in 2016, and I remember I was having trouble running, and I started seeing this guy named Larry Arnold, and he watched me run from here to the tree over there, and then he said stop, no more running, and he's like, okay, he said you're not breathing. Like, first thing is you're not breathing. I'm like, what are you talking about? What do you mean I'm not breathing?
Yeah.
And then he said, watch, I'll show you. And he had me put on some boxing gloves, and he had me spar a little bit, and I started seeing stars. He's like, I told you.
Yeah.
It's because you're not breathing.
Yeah.
And so that was when I first really realized I wasn't breathing correctly, and I started focusing and being much more aware of my breath. And since then, now I can pay attention, and I can see most people are walking around with very short, shallow breaths.
Yeah, right.
And that leads to anxiety, depression, lots of mental health issues.
Yeah.
It leads to lots of problems.
Yeah, but the one problem with mastering your breath? You can't monetize it.
Right.
There's no copay. There's no insurance.
Right.
There's no, so there's no pills, potions, and lotions.
Right.
So the bigger companies can't make money on breath.
I mean, they've got some apps out there now.
Yes, great. And actually, apps are great. Like whatever works.
Yeah.
Whatever gets you to do it. Sometimes if you gamify, some people like to gamify.
Uh-huh.
So if you gamify it, great. Doesn't matter. Whatever gets you up the mountain.
Yeah.
If you want to gamify.
Yeah, no, I mean, to your point, breath work, learning how to breathe correctly is like the lowest hanging fruit.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's all simple. And you know what it starts with? It starts with one breath now. That's it. Let's do it. So just in through the nose, mouth. That's it. Congratulations. You just did breath work for the day. Yeah. We could even say you did meditation for the day. If you want, okay, so you want to nuance it? When you breathe in, take your tongue and touch your upper teeth and gums, almost like two wires, like touching two live wires, because we have a circuitry. We have an internal circuitry, and it breaks right there. It breaks there, and it breaks in your butt, basically, right at your perineum. Like, have you heard of a kegel?
Yep.
When the yogis call it mula bandha. Mm-hmm. When I learned it, it was called squeeze your butt. I'm like, what? Mm-hmm. But what it is like the circuitry breaks here and it breaks there. And so it's like you like a little squeeze and a little touch there, the circuitry or internal wiring system. If you think about what are we made up of? Well, we got meat, flesh, bones, fluids, levers, pulleys, a circuit board, and the little dollop of consciousness. Mm-hmm. We walk around, and so the circuitry is so let's try it. So you do your tongue here when you breathe in, then you drop your tongue. And there you go. Now it's like one step of, we can nuance breath work or breath mastery a lot more, but that's the most basic, most basic. Yeah. Kind of cool. It's raining.
I know.
This is awesome.
Yeah. See if it stays. As long as it doesn't start pouring in 5 minutes, which it's done recently.
Yeah. Oh, cool. Yeah. So you purge more toxins out of your mouth than anything else. So it's like a lot of stuff comes. That's why masks are a little gross. Walking around with a mask, like walking around with a diaper, basically. So it's a little disgusting. So it's like you want to purge. If you want to also something else you can do, you add visualization. And when you exhale, you picture smoke coming out. like dark, turbid smoke. It just cleans out the crap. We all have crap inside of us. Let's just do it. So we breathe in, tongue up, and then visualize smoke. It should feel good. It's like we're just cleaning, almost like a distillery. You just clean it out. So if you have if you feel the stress or anxiety or something, not if, but when you feel stress and anxiety, just picture smoke. Does it fix anything? Well, it cleans. Because if we think of stress, anxiety, think of it as a vibration, like a tuning fork. So it's like we have this stress, and like we have stress inside. You have to have some stress. We have to have some anxiety. We have to have some anger. We have to have some grief. Like there's no such thing. It's like if you're always happy, you're never happy.
Right.
In order for happiness to exist, it needs its opposite. Like, why does the Super Bowl work? Because there's a loser.
Right.
Because there's a built-in tragedy. Someone's gonna feel tragedy, or whoever has emotionally is invested. Whoever's emotionally invested in the losing but it can only work if both teams won the Super Bowl. It wouldn't work. So the victor needs someone to defeat.
Yeah, one of my favorite lines, being in recovery, I get to feel my emotions, not just the good ones.
Yeah.
I mean, it's all of it. It's like I get to feel all of the emotions, and being clean and sober and on this path, I get to experience all the emotions, and being angry, lonely, sad, tired, in pain.
Yeah.
Then the joy on the other side feels a lot better.
Well, you need it.
Yes.
There's no such thing as, otherwise then you're a reptile.
Right. Right.
Like reptiles are programmed after they lay eggs. They're programmed, like just in their genetic makeup, to leave. Why? Because they'd eat their kids. Like mammals don't do that. Mammals will love, and love their children, but it's like, but we're not reptiles. So you have to experience it. Okay. So what does a superhero need to exist? What does it need?
Villain.
A supervillain, right? What do you call a superhero without a supervillain? A weirdo in tights. Right, or unemployed. Right. So it needs its opposite. So in order to experience joy or victory, you got to experience. You have to. If you're always happy, you're never happy.
Right.
So you need its opposite, and part of now we're into breath, but then like emotion, and we can say emotional mastery. It's a funny word because sometimes that can imply, oh, I'm only happy, I'm only positive. Yeah, right. Show me someone who's only positive and only happy. I'll show you either someone who's lying or delusional.
Right.
It doesn't exist.
Right.
I've spent my whole life doing this. I have dark, have dark stuff. You have to. It's like at the end of the cupcake, there's a pile of shit. No shit, no cupcake.
Right. So many of our audience members and people here were in recovery. I'm in recovery. How does breath work, meditation help someone who's healing from addiction or trauma or anxiety, depression? Like, and I think when I think about the bad emotions,
dark,
feeling the dark emotions, like I think the goal is to get through those emotions more quickly.
Yeah.
And so how can we get there?
Or the other way we can think of it is it's like you turn fertilizer into a tomato.
Yes.
Right. No.
Fertilizer doesn't smell very good.
No, and that's a dark emotion.
Right.
To a tomato.
Right.
So, but the tomato can only exist with the fertilizer. Like you need them. So you need the dark emotions. And so if you can say dark emotions, fuel. You can, if you turn them into fuel.
Right.
One way is through the breath. You just, okay, in order to be regulated, you have to experience dysregulation.
Okay.
In order to be centered, you have to lose the center. If you are always centered, the center doesn't exist. The center can only exist when you get off center.
Right.
Otherwise, it doesn't exist. So you get off center. To be regulated only exists if you're dysregulated.
Okay.
So I'll say the mastery is how quickly can you recover, not if, but when you get off center or get dysregulated or go dark or whatever it is. The mastery is, oh, wow, okay, I'm here. How quickly can can I get back? And then you have a whole tool. I mean, this whole place is filled with tools for that.
Right,
So
right.
We're in a toolkit of like ways to go from dysregulation to regulation, and think of breath as one of the most powerful tools and the most simplest. I mean, we did the visualization. The other real simple one is box breathing. Are we familiar with it?
Yes.
You breathe in for 4 seconds, you breathe out for 4 seconds, or excuse me, you hold for 4 seconds, breathe in, breathe out for 4 seconds, and hold. And the magic happens on holding the out breath, by the way. Of the 4, that's for the magic. And so if let's just do it, we'll do 16 seconds. So here, we breathe in, hold, 2, 3, 4, breathe out, smoke. Here's the magic, hold the out breath, 2, 3, 4, and then breathe in, breathe out, smoke. Just doing that for 16 seconds, did you feel a little more regulated? Little dollop? Sometimes it's like a drop. Sometimes that little drop, though, sometimes it's like, there was a book written, 10, 20 years ago called 10% Happier about meditation. You don't need to read the book. I'll give you the cliff notes of it. It's meditation, which is dropping the cerebral activity. Doesn't solve all your problems, but it can make you 10% happier. And sometimes that 10%, it's like the field goal at the end of a game or something, or it's like the winning shot at the end of a whatever sporting event.
Right.
It can tip it. It can tip from 51%. Hey, you want to consider yourself a positive thinker? Just be positive 51% of the time.
Right? Yeah.
Imagine, I made it to 55. Oh, there's still dark stuff, but that's all it needs. There's no such thing as 100-0. Back to that. If it's 100-0, then that doesn't exist. And so breath regulates the nervous system. And so you can always, when you get dysregulated, the breath is one tool you can do to come back. And actually, here, let's do that again. But this is not going to come off on the podcast. But I have a bunch of music that's meant for breathing, because there's a bell every 4 seconds. So I don't know if you can hear it. So here, breathe in, hold, breathe out, hold. Let's do it one more time. Breathe in, hold, breathe out, hold, breathe in. Those songs are 5 minutes. So you just put on one song, close your eyes, and just breathe through the bell. And then what'll happen is your mind will drift and you'll forget, Then you'll hear a bell, then you'll remember, then your mind will drift and you'll hear. The other way that music is used, you just, for 5 minutes, you just like lay down and just breathe once to the bell. Don't even hold. And the same thing, you'll drift and you'll get off, and then you come back on, and then you'll drift and come back on. But you'll find after 5 minutes, you're just a little more regulated. You're a little more even. And how long do you stay regulated for? Until you're not. It's like you rake sand at the beach, and how long does the sand stay smooth? Until it gets messed up.
Yeah.
How long do we stay smooth? Until we get messed up. Then you come back.
Yeah, and the breath work is such an easy, like the box breathing is such an easy way to reset. I mean, if I'm stressed out, if I'm spinning out, I can just do a little box breath reset and just get back. And we actually do at our admin meeting, we always start with a little breath work.
Oh, perfect. Yeah.
Let's get stable, get grounded.
Yeah.
So there's many ways that I've learned to kind of get stable, get grounded, bring myself back to center. And through breath work, meditation, doing a cold plunge, going for a run, doing yoga. What do you, in your opinion, what's more powerful, breath work or meditation?
Okay. So if we do this, we have 3 characters here. And this means a lot of things, but we're made up of matter, energy, and consciousness. Okay, the matter, we all know that. That's everything we can see, touch, and feel. The energy is the bioelectrical energy that runs through us. There's many different words. The chi, the ki, the gi, the prana, but also the breath runs through the circuitry and emotion. Because here with matter, you can see, touch, and feel it. But emotion, you can't see, touch, and feel. Like, show me anger. Oh, we can show eyes that have anger in them. But you can't hold anger in your hand. It's an energy. Okay? And then this consciousness is the observer. Right? We have the human, we have the being. Human changes, being never changes. The being is the same as when all of us were 8. That observer back here. But everything else completely changes. So let's make a few metaphors. If I have H2O, solid, liquid, vapor. Right? Ice, water, mist. It's all H2O. Anyone raised Catholic? The Catholics teach us. The Father, the Son, the Holy Ghost. Most Catholics don't understand it, though. I used to train a bunch of nuns. Nuns were great students. They were really into it. I used to teach them sword. Okay. Nuns with swords. How cool is that?
Yeah, that's great.
But this is but it's the Holy Trinity. And so then we say, okay, there's 3 types of meditation. There's sitting, standing, and moving. And then we have breath, movement, and intention. So, so to answer your question, it's all the above. But we start, the lowest hanging fruit is the breath. Because here's the problem with meditation. See, when I was teaching this 25 years ago, when we were teaching meditation, we would say, okay, meditate 40 minutes in the morning and 40 minutes at night. And everyone would go, okay. Sit and do it, and come back a week later, a month later.
Asleep.
Yeah, and that's okay, but we'd do it. If you say that now, meditate for 40 minutes in the morning, 40 minutes at night, most people will run scared. I think there's a lower attention span. Some won't, but many will. And a lot of it has to do with the phone and all these things. But okay. So and also here's the other thing that happens. Okay, I'm going to meditate. I'm going to do my meditation. Okay, I'm still. And then the mind says, hey, what are you doing here? Hey, you could be returning emails. Hey, you could be doing this. Oh, what about this person? What about this? And by the end of it, you're stressed out.
Right.
Of a 20-minute meditation. Anyone experience that? Most have at some point. Okay. So that's why it's a little easier to start with the breath.
Right.
So if you lay down and do one song and do 5 minutes and do box breathing or just breathing with it, there's a focal point, and we say chain the monkey to the tree, the monkey mind. Because when the monkey runs crazy, the monkey will come up with some really dark stuff. So we chain the monkey to the tree. You do that with the breath. However, the monkey is a master locksmith. It will escape. No matter how much you chain that thing, and it'll say, oh no, you're good, you got me, ha 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 ha, and then the monkey runs off and it escapes. So usually breath is the lowest hanging fruit, but you got to move, and then that helps still the mind, what we talked about earlier, drop the cerebral activity. I think 50 to 80,000 thoughts a day we all have. Right. 99% are the same thoughts we had yesterday. Right. So we get on this skipped record. Does anyone know what a skipped record is? Okay. Well, it's like when you just repeat. It's like a loop.
Right. So how can slowing down and tuning in change how we relate to cravings, emotions, anxiety, depression?
Yeah. Well, okay. So if we look at emotion, okay, what is emotion? It's motion, right? And we think emotion is a vibration. And if you really nuance emotion, different emotions get stored in different organs. For example, and different emotions have colors and sounds because it's a vibration. See, if I wave my finger 20 times per second up to 20,000 times per second, I can't do it that fast, but if I could, we would perceive that as sound, like a tuning fork. But if I did it 50,000 times per second, we wouldn't hear it. But what's your dog's name?
Wayne.
Wayne Wood. Okay, 80,000 times per second. What was your cat's name, the 3-legged cat? Maverick? Okay, 80,000 times, Maverick would hear it. It's like a dog whistle. Right. So we have, and then 7 times you and I don't hear, but elephants hear it. They talk they talk below. So everything, light, sound, emotions, if you think of it as vibration, it's like a tuning fork. And I can even show you in the piano if I push up the damper pedal and I go, which is 220 beats, one of the strings, 220, the A, will start to resonate. So it's like it's the law of resonance. Okay, so if we think of all of it as emotion, or like emotion is vibration, okay, so there's the vibration. And can you go into the vibration and feel it? Or even feel the space underneath it. And then the mind will want to create a story around it, but can you drop the story and just feel the vibration? Feel it. Is it comfortable? Probably not. A lot of them are uncomfortable. Okay. Can you just go into it and feel it? And that's one way. There's a lot of tools of emotional mastery. That's one tool in emotional mastery. Okay. And thus we do that with the breath and meditation and sound.
Okay. So I think we've been going for about 45 minutes or so, and I think we want to get to. I want to tell everybody where they can find your music, and then I also want to get to. We want to go inside and do a little meditation with the piano, and so I guess I want to open the floor. Do you guys have any questions? Anything on your mind?
It means I covered everything.
We covered everything.
I take that as a compliment. Any aha moments? Any like, oh, that was interesting? You want to share? And if no, that's okay.
Was that the Bell? Was that an app?
No, that's just, it was on Spotify. It was one of my albums.
Yeah. He's got,
iTunes or stuff, yeah.
He releases one album every single month. He's been on Billboard Top 40 lists. He's got, how many albums do you have?
Over 100.
Over 100 albums. Yeah. So we'll tell you where to get his music from.
Yeah, it's YouTube, all of it, all the major platforms. Yeah.
What's the difference? Oh, you have a question?
Yeah, I was going to ask. So, what would you say to someone if you're helping them with the breath work and they just say, "I can't do it," and you say, "Well, I guess you can." How do you help them think about that and navigate it?
Can you repeat the question?
Yeah. Okay. So the question was, when you're teaching somebody breathing and they say, "I can't do this." Well, okay. I guess, the first thing that I think of when it's like, okay, great, stop breathing. Okay, you're right. You can't breathe. Good. And then see how long that lasts. So maybe inject a little humor into it. But, it's like it's the sweep story. It's like, and you know this, I'm preaching to the choir here, but if more as you can just meet someone where they're at, and just, maybe that's it. Maybe that's it. Yeah. I would do, it's like, I don't have time to meditate. What? What do you mean you don't have time to meditate? I don't have time to meditate. Okay, let's do this now. Everyone, close your eyes. Take one. Inhale. Exhale. Open your eyes. Congratulations, you just meditated. Wait a minute, you have time to do it. Maybe that's it. Maybe it's one. And then what you do, it's like, okay, you do that, then the mind will say, okay, maybe I'll do 2. Maybe I'll do 2 breaths. Maybe I'll do 3. Did anyone see Forrest Gump? Mm-hmm. There was a story when Forrest Gump was running, he's like, okay, I'm just going to go to the edge of the town. I'll go to the edge of the state. I'll go to the edge of the country. And
right.
He kept doing it.
Yeah.
So
one more.
He had no plan.
It's like I do this bike ride on Tuesday and Thursday, and the bike rides are hard and they're fast, and I'm with a group of people, and I'm like, and we go up this hill, and I have these little landmarks, and I'm like, okay, we get through the golf course, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna make it to the roundabout. I make it to the roundabout. Okay, I'm going to make it to the next turn. Okay, make it to the next turn. I'm going to make it to the next turn. Okay, then I'm going to make it to the big house on the right. Okay, I'm going to make it to the wash. Okay, I'm going to make it to the first peak. And so I just push myself. One more breath. Because if I think about climbing all the way to the top of the hill, it's too much.
You're done. Yeah.
You think about doing however many breaths, it's too much.
It's one breath now, one push now, one hill that whatever it is. One step. Just today. Make or whatever the short time, because the mind gets overwhelmed, and to do I get right because I do bike ride too, and it's like you get to this one part. It's like your whole body goes, oh my God, I'm going to die.
Yeah.
Your body, it's like, okay.
My eyes are popping out of my head.
And you're 6 minutes in. Like, oh my, okay. Just to this, then that's it. And then if I want to quit, fine. After this, quit.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. I'll do one more.
Yes, one more step.
Yeah.
Well, one more section.
Yeah.
So what's the difference between simply breathing deeply and consciously using your breath to transform your mental state?
Oh boy, that's really good. And so, see, here's the good news about like box breathing. It works even if you have a bad attitude, even if you don't believe it, even if you do it poorly, even if you bitch and moan. And here's the metaphors: push-ups. Push-ups work with a bad attitude, with bad form, with holding your breath. You can piss and moan all your way to the push-ups before and after. You can be angry doing it. You can say, I don't believe in this stupid stuff. Do 100 a day for a month. And see what happens.
All right.
Okay, with no belief and with a bad attitude, holding your breath and doing everything wrong. It still works. Now, will it work better with a good attitude? With good
Will it be more enjoyable with a good attitude?
Sure,
Probably.
But it's like that's what Siddhartha used to say. Also, back to the Buddha, he would say when someone says, if someone asks him, is suffering necessary? He's like, 100% is necessary. It is 100% necessary that you suffer until you realize it's not necessary. So it is necessary until it's not.
Until you realize
it's not.
Yeah.
But in order to realize it's not, you have to suffer.
Well, that's like acceptance is the answer to all my problems. And that's one of the things we say in recovery. It's like what you resist persists.
Yes.
If I'm trying to fight whatever is happening, it's.
Did anyone see Groundhog Day?
Yeah.
Groundhog Day. I'm giving you all these movie references. The story of it was actually a deep, profound teaching in Groundhog Day, and the teaching was the character was in resistance. He was funny though, because it was Bill Murray, so it was funny resistance. But he hated this, and everything was stupid, and everyone was wrong, and everyone was an idiot, and he got into a karmic loop of repeating the same day over and over again. So he's just repeating it and repeating it and repeating it. And then in the third act, he said something to the effect of, this moment is enough. This moment is enough. And when he said that, he went from resistance to allowing. And once he was allowing, everyone he touched grew and blossomed. And so he went through. And that's the teaching of the cross. Not my will, why have you forsaken me? Resistance to not my will, but thy will be done.
Right.
So, but what do you have to allow? Just this moment. This moment's enough. Because that's really all you have. You have this moment. What more do you have?
Right.
Past and future only exist here. So, this moment is enough. And then your nervous system changes with that.
How quickly can someone notice a change in their being just by doing breath work?
It's a good question. As quick as you let it. But then also realize that then you get off center and you get dysregulated. So it's okay. So you've heard, let go, allow, let go. Well, how do you let go? You have to first be holding on. If you're not holding on, you can't let go. So the letting go and allowing can only exist when you first resist. And it's a constant back and forth. So there's the old saying, change. The only constant in the universe is change, right? Every time we breathe, we change. Every 7 years, every one of your cells has died and been reborn. So like from 7 years ago, there's not one cell in you that's the same. So it's change. And so, yes, can you transform? But just transform in this moment, and that's enough. Then you get out of whack, and then come back. You get out of whack. And if you do it 20 times a day or 20,000 times a day, what's the difference?
Right.
What's the difference?
Right.
You're doing it now.
It's like life is happening for me, not to me. It's like that's the path of life, the journey of life, getting twisted up, going here, going there, turning right, turning left, making a decision that, okay, next time maybe I'll make a different decision. It wasn't a bad decision. It was just the decision that I made that had a certain result.
Yeah. Well, good needs bad. A good decision can only exist with a bad decision.
Right.
Everything needs its polarity. If it's always daytime, it's never daytime. Nighttime creates daytime. So it's like what it may sound kind of funny, but it's like what creates good, evil, or bad. What creates joy, suffering, or whatever word we want to use. See, there's an old metaphor in swordsmanship. We say it's the old riddle, and the riddle is, what's the opposite of death? And usually the knee jerk is life. But if I'm going to say a riddle, it's never what you think it is.
Right.
No, life has no opposite. The opposite of death is birth. Birth, death, and they're the yin yang symbol, birth and death. So in order to create a birth, we need a death, and it can be a metaphorical death. And so that's why with the sword, see, the sword created your birth. Let's think about that. So when you're first born, you get a cut. The sword shows up. You have to cut the cord. Mom experiences a death. Mom just lost a body part. Baby just experienced birth. So the birth begins with the cutting of the cord. Not life. Life begins, obviously, long before that. But the actual birth, no, it's begin with the sword. So sometimes you have to cut something in your life. Sometimes you have to cut a habit, cut a person. Sometimes you have to cut people in order to be reborn. It's like with the sword, you got to cut it in order to birth. As lightning strikes a tree, there's a death, but then there's also this beautiful birth that comes. So we have birth, death, birth, death, birth, death.
Yeah. I think about, I know that I have to close the door on something before new opportunities present themselves.
Yeah.
Like even with a relationship, I got to close that door. If that door's still open, if the back door's still open, I'm never going to be able to move forward to the next thing.
Yeah. Yeah. And we all have something you need to cut in your life. Every day you have to cut. You cut a thought pattern. You cut, a habit. Again, sometimes it's big. Maybe it's a relationship. Maybe it's a lifestyle. Maybe it's a career. Maybe it's a job. Or maybe you're so cool and your life is so good, all you need to do is cut your fingernails and your hair. But you got to cut something. Look at the landscape. A lot of things have to be cut around here to grow.
So I think we want to move over to indoors, and we'll hop on the piano. Yeah. We'll do a little breath work, meditation. Does that sound good?
Great.
Okay. All right. Let's do it.
So here's what we'll do. And I totally was not planning this. I had no idea that we were going to do this. I'm just going to play, and it's based on what's called the I Ching, the Book of Changes. But actually, what I'll do, I'll play a few things of an album that's going to come out in January. I actually haven't worked it out, so you'll actually hear some new themes and some stuff. But all you do is just close your eyes and see if you can dial into the space in the notes, or the space underneath. It won't go long. It'll go 5 minutes or so, something like that. And just see. And the other thing that happens is sometimes if you ask yourself a question, what's the best solution for dung? What's the best solution for something? And then you let the cerebral activity drop. You access what we spoke about before. You access some of the intuition or pineal or whatever we're going to say. So let's have some fun. I'm not sure what's going to happen in the next 5 minutes. That was 5 minutes. How'd we do? Did it? I kept us honest. I kept a timer because with music it can drift, as you know. Everyone. At some point in your life, music gave you chills, but it's different for everyone here. It was a different song. It was a different time. It was a different scenario. But music can, and you all have your go-to playlist probably, or you go to, you feel happy when I'm up, or when I'm a sad thing, and it's powerful. Any insights, any ahas at all? If no, that's okay. Yeah.
I was just searching for the space between the notes.
Yeah.
That's really what I was focused on, was the space between the notes and the silence and the removal of sound. That's what I was focused on, and that kind of helped me, because my mind is all over the place. I'm thinking about what I got to do later today. I'm thinking about what I did earlier. I'm thinking about whether or not I pressed record on the thing. I swear for the first for the first 5 minutes, I was like, God, I think I pressed play, but I don't know. And that would be such a shame to record this whole podcast and not have it be recorded. Right. I've done that before. I did that. I'm traumatized. Yeah. I did that one time. With Dr. Robbie Westerman. We were in there, and I was sitting there. We were in my little podcast room, and I was like, I don't think I pressed. And I looked over, and usually there's a little timer. So
I've done that recording music. Oh. On the piano, because I have a studio, a whole setup, and I recorded this whole thing. I was like, okay, got it. And I looked up, it's like, I didn't run the tape. I didn't press record, so that happens. Not everything is captured.
Yeah, I know. It's like, okay, that was a practice run. Yeah. Okay, so I guess meditation, it's not about escaping, right? It's more about becoming more present for it. So I guess were we able to apply that principle to this little meditation? Anybody want to share their experience?
Since I think May, I've been dealing with a lot of health issues and anxiety, and listening to the music, it just brought me to this moment. and I just felt like someone relief from all that. All I had to focus on was that. So
Okay, that's awesome. That's awesome. If you look me up on, what do you use? Spotify, iTunes? What's your go-to?
I think it's iHeartRadio.
Okay, iHeartRadio. Look me up on. I don't even know how much I'm on. I don't deal with iHeart very much. I'm sure I'm on there, but if you look up, and my suggestion is just go to my latest release. Most of them are Zen piano. Some other ones are like the ones with the bells. But if you just go to that, and the songs are 3 minutes, 3 to 5 minutes, just put on one. If you can do a longer one, great, but just one song. And headphones is best. It sounds better with headphones, but if you listen to it on your phone, it's fine. Yeah, and do that. So, yeah, great.
What's your creative process behind developing your music?
Well, there's a long answer and a short answer. I'll give you the really short answer, or one of them. It's about not thinking. Like, this gets in the way. Again, this is your best friend, it's your worst enemy. You're happiest when you're not thinking, that's for sure. Thinking never made you happier. It's like the monkey mind. If we had a sci-fi movie, and I know there's been a lot of movies where the police chief committed the crime, but the police chief doesn't know it committed the crime. And so it's searching for the criminal, but it's himself. Mm-hmm. I'm sure there's a bunch of movies that have been that. That's our monkey mind is that. The monkey mind is committed the crime, but it looks for the solution, but it doesn't know it's the problem. So it's a funny thing. So it's like you find the most joy when you have the least amount of clunk. I mean, we need cerebral activity, obviously, and we have to be very practical. But that's when you're in the zone, when you feel like you feel best. And sometimes everyone's a little different, has a different nervous system. Sometimes it's tactile. Sometimes it's a cold plunge. Yeah. You might feel, if you're familiar with Wim Hof, I don't know him personally. I love what he does. Mm-hmm. But my understanding of his backstory is he was in so much pain in his life, he felt less pain in the cold than he did out of the cold.
Right.
You got to be in some serious shit for that. Mm-hmm. Like the rest of all of us feel more pain in the cold than outside.
Just for the first minute.
Yeah, that's right.
Just for the first minute.
But the point is, the only time he didn't feel pain when he had to get but he judo flipped it and turned that into a great power. So he used that pain and transformed that pain into just like, very, very powerful. So it's like, and everyone's a little different. Sometimes tactile. You might have, feel great playing pickleball. I mean, again, I'm just using that because it's right there. It doesn't matter. Yeah. Or playing an instrument.
Pickleball, basketball.
Yeah. Something.
Chess.
Yeah.
Swimming.
Yeah. So a lot of my processes, I work out the themes and also I keep it going in the subconscious. I'll like step away and just kind of keep it going and just tell my subconscious to just, keep writing. Because your subconscious is going to be filled with something. A lot of times it's random and it's crap and it's, what's the saying? It's like, you spend 50 years of your life trying to recover from the first 5.
I've never heard that before. It sounds about right.
Yeah, doesn't it? Right? And so, or all the crap we get in this, if you want to be unhappy, read the news every day.
Oof.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing good. And it's all manipulated. It's all algorithms and it's very little for our benefit. Like that's on there. I say as I walk around with my phone. The irony. But so to answer the question, the creative process. I mean, there's obviously technical stuff you have to know. The monkey work. Like if you're a painter, you got to know mixing your colors and your brush and your there's a bunch of technical things you have to know about painting. And so there's technical things you have to know. But once you know the technical, it's almost like dropping it and then just being in the moment.
So, yes.
Yeah. Do you have a challenging time coming up with titles for what you compose?
Oh my gosh!
Does she have a challenging time coming up with titles for
okay, good.
Music that you compose?
Okay, that's part of the art. And if you go into my Zen piano album, I have Zen piano, and then I have other ones. But if we just look at the Zen piano, the names of the songs they're almost like Zen riddles, meant to stop your mind for a moment. But it's based on, I have a big chart because it's symbols and we translate the symbols into words and a bunch of different words and I'm combining them. So I have a big chart in how I do it. So is it a challenge? Yes. Is it fun? Yes. But if we look at, if I just, the names of, okay, I'll just look at the names of one of the most recent ones. Okay. So some of the names of the songs are, and they're all piano, just solo piano. So it's not, most pop music is I Want You, I Need You, I Miss You, Let's Party, and Social Commentary. So you have the, this is just solo piano. Resonating Excess, Joyful Abyss, Elated Contention, Serene Opposition, Radiant Force, Exuberant Creation. And that was all, like, what do those words really mean? It's all kind of based on a symbol, and there's a teaching in it, so every album is a little different.
What's the name of this one?
Well, the album is called Joyful Opposition. Yeah, but if you just go, the easiest thing is, this is what the album looks like. But if you just go to one of my, Spotify or iTunes or whatever, and just listen to the latest album, whatever one's on the top that says the latest, because next month it'll be something else, and next month it'll be something else. That's just the easiest to do it.
So if you could give one piece of advice to someone beginning recovery, someone just learning how to sit with themselves,
what would it be? Now. That's it. One breath now. Nothing more. And that's enough. One breath now is enough.
What do you hope that people take away from this experience today?
One breath now is enough.
Okay. I thought that's what you were going to say. I'm sitting here looking at the question. I'm like, I know the answer, but I'm going to ask it anyways.
Right. Years ago, someone on a podcast asked me, he said, what's your favorite food? And my answer was, whatever I'm eating now.
I love that. That's a good answer. I'm going to use that.
Right? How could it be? I'm eating one thing, wishing it was something else? No. Whatever I'm eating now is my favorite food.
Love it.
Yeah.
Is there anything I missed?
No. Nope, we're good.
Okay, so how can people find you? We know how they can find your music, but I know that you lead breathwork sessions. Yeah. You've got the Zen Wellness Center. You've got all kinds of. You're the mayor of the town of Cleator, sheriff, which is or the sheriff of the town of Cleator, which is a ghost town not far from here. Yeah. So tell us a little more. We didn't talk about Cleator. I know. I just brought it up.
Yeah. So we have it's a ghost town project, and if you look at 1.4 billion years ago, in this area, the continents collided, like the plates collided, basically. When plates collide, they do that. That's why there's gold in them, they're hills. And the reason this area of the country, or even here, was for the gold. And, you have like the Bradshaw Mountains, and you have Bisbee, and you have, the state seal, the miner guy on it. And our flag is the copper state. So it's there's minerals out there. And the town of Cleator was an old mining town from 1864. And they came out basically with pickaxes, pickaxes and a lot of willpower. And if you look at what these guys did back then, it's amazing, like the physical health. But if you think about gold, remember we spoke about removal. So if we said it's about removing, well, if I take ore and I crush the ore and I process it, what's left? Gold with the right type of ore. So in one way, you can say gold is enlightened ore. A funny sort of way, as you make a metaphor about removal and purifying. And so it was an old mining town, and we have a whole project that we're doing out there, which is actually a lot of fun. There was actually supposed to be, today's Friday. It got rained out. We were going to have, anyone play disc golf? We had our first Cleator Wild West shootout disc golf tournament out there. 18 holes.
Oh, wow.
It got rained out.
Oh, man.
So it's November 1st is the next one.
Okay.
Yeah, and you're invited. If you want to come up, and I don't know if that's possible, but you play disc golf.
Yeah, well, we had talked about doing something in the schoolhouse in Cleator, which is, how far is it from here? 45 minutes? Half hour?
Yeah, but from here, maybe an hour, just under an hour. Yeah, not far.
Yeah, so it's a great. I mean, it would be a great field trip, actually.
Actually, to do a disc golf tournament might be a really cool field trip. So just saying.
It would be.
Yeah.
It would be. Yeah. Anything else? What about those breathwork sessions that you lead in the morning? Do you still do that?
Yeah.
Breathwork Mastery?
I do Breath Mastery. You can find that if you go to zenpiano.com. You can find all my stuff. Zenpiano.com and zenwellness.com are kind of our two things. But we teach. We have a whole process.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Jason, thank you for your time.
Thank you, my friend.
I appreciate you.
Okay.
Thanks so much for listening to I Love Being Sober. I hope you got something valuable from today's episode. And if you're looking for more resources on recovery, mental health, or any of the therapies we talk about, head over to camelbackrecovery.com. You can find more episodes, blog posts, and ways to connect. Until next time, take care of yourself, keep growing, and keep living a kick-ass sober life.